Good afternoon. Welcome to RTC TV4 Studios here in beautiful Rochester, Indiana. I'm Sports Director Steve Stricker. Got a good show coming your way here this afternoon. We're going to be talking girls basketball. Hard to believe that the 2018-2019 season is coming to a close here in just a couple days. Starting up the sectional play next Tuesday at 5 different sites here for our 8 teams. Glad to be joined today by the Rochester Lady Zebras head coach Brian Jennings. Coach Jennings, thanks for coming in.
Not a problem.
So before we get started on our brackets, let's just talk a little bit about your season here. You've been involved with basketball your whole life, obviously. Graduated from Argus High School back in the day. Been involved with a lot of AAU and different levels of ball. This is your first time as a varsity head coach. Talk about some of the challenges that you faced this year as the varsity coach.
Well, I think really the biggest challenge that we had this year at Rochester was basically in the first 2 months of the season we played 18 games, and now it seems like with some cancellations and delays, the season here in January has really kind of slowed down for us. So got a lot of games in early. A lot of times we had one practice in a game, and then one practice in a game, and we didn't really get a chance to get into that practice time and improve like I wanted to early on in the season. And now when we do have practice time, winter weather hits and we get days without practices. So it's been kind of a struggle from that way, but I think it's been the same for a lot of teams. So we'll just keep plugging away at it and see what we can do.
So you've had some ups and downs this year. You've got a young squad. Talk a little bit about where how you feel going into the sectionals.
Yeah, I think we're really starting to play some of our best basketball right now. The offense, the last 2 games, we played some really good opponents in Tippy Valley and Manchester. Offense kind of struggled a little bit, but we have had stretches where we look pretty good. The defense is coming around fairly decent. So, just if we had that little extra practice time right now, I think we'd be probably playing some of our best basketball going into sectional play.
I know, I remember one of the pre-games that you were talking that you guys were trying to really find that signature defense. Have you kind of feel like you found that yet?
Yeah, we really like the half-court traps. We do multiple 1-3-1, a 3-2 half-court trap. But, really when and we're just trying to force some turnovers out of that versus just sitting back in a zone or playing man and waiting to rebound. So we're trying to force some turnovers off the half-court trap. But really when we do get back into just our half-court defense, we have enough size and length that we cause some teams some problems. So it's just a matter of settling in, communicating on defense, and just getting the job done that way.
Got a lot of young players on the team. Got several freshmen and some sophomores that are playing some big minutes for you. You've got your senior Sierra Weathers back, for the stretch run here. Talk a little bit about what her leadership's going to bring to your team.
Well, I mean, she's just been a typical leader all season long. Whether she was on the court or she was helping, getting me organized early on in the season, and just did a wonderful job. Always encouraging the other players, always there every night, whether she could play or not. Now that I told her the other day, the worst part is we're hitting a really tough part of the schedule, and getting her back into that lineup with some significant minutes has been kind of tough. But she is a great leader, always talking, always communicating, and that's really what we need. So those minutes that she does get right now are very crucial for us.
All right, so we got a bit of we'll talk about your team here in the bracket when we get down to it. So we'll take a quick commercial break here and thank some of our wonderful sponsors here with RTC TV4, and be back with the brackets here in just a moment.
At Co-Alliance Propane, we treat our customers like neighbors because, well, that's what we are. When you trust Co-Alliance Propane as your seriously local propane provider, you're trusting a team of professionals who live, work, and watch the game from right across the county, not the country. A team that's close by and seriously dedicated to your safety and providing the best service possible. Find out more about Co-Alliance Propane's seriously local service and how you can get 50 gallons of propane free at coalliancepropane.com.
All right, welcome back to RTC TV4 Studios. Steve Stricker here with Coach Brian Jennings. We're going to get right into our brackets. We're going to start off with the 3A sectional up at West Noble, number 21. Got 6 teams in this sectional. Fairfield is your defending champion up there. They lost actually in the semi-state to the eventual state champion Northwestern Lady Tigers last year, but different looking Fairfield team this year, obviously. So we'll go down here through the brackets. You can see them up behind us. Wawasee Lakeland is going to be playing game number 1. West Noble Fairfield game number 2. And then the Tippecanoe Valley Lady Vikings have the bye. They're waiting for the winner of Wawasee and Lakeland. And then Northwood has the other bye, and they're going to wait for that West Noble Fairfield winner. So, Coach, you've seen a couple of these teams, obviously Tippy Valley and Northwood. I have to put those two teams. Boy, I tell you, the bracket really kind of evened out right there. You got Northwood on the bottom, you got Tippy Valley on the top. I expect to see those two teams playing on Saturday.
Yeah, they will have a tough matchup though with Tippy Valley and Lakeland. Lakeland's a very good team, and West Noble's has a good record this year too. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Tippy Valley Northwood matchup. They just met maybe a week 10 days ago, with Northwood coming out on top on that one. But I think it's going to be an evenly matched game. Tippy Valley is just so efficient in their offense. They don't turn the ball over. They don't hurt themselves. Northwood's got a good size and good post players, and some senior guards out there that just do a nice job. It'll be a fun one to watch.
Coach Kindig has done another great job over there with Tippy Valley this year. Not the numbers that he's used to throughout the whole program. He said this is kind of going to be an anomaly, he hopes. He thinks next year the numbers will be back up. But anytime you've got Sophie Buzzard on the floor, I think you got a chance to win.
Yeah, she has really been the ultimate leader for Tippy Valley this year. She took a young team, under her wing, and really made them into a team where they don't necessarily just look for her within the offense. Early on in the season, they did. They looked for her, and she carried them to some wins. But now it is a very good team effort, and they're getting production from everybody across the board.
Yeah, the young players really stepped up well for them. Like you said early, it was kind of one of those, it was Sophie or nothing, and I got a chance to go over and cover a couple of those Tippy Valley games, and the one that really stood out to me was the Plymouth game. Plymouth came down to Tippecanoe Valley, and Sophie was under the weather and didn't have her typical game, and they really struggled to find that second person or third person to step up and really give them that scoring power. And I think now, like you said, they've kind of found that.
Yeah, they have. And what's nice with Sophie is she can, if they need an extra guard, she can come out and be a guard. If they need some post play, she can go inside and be a post player. So she is just that versatile that she can add to whatever Tippy Valley needs that night. But like I said, that they got a couple of the Southmore post players coming along strong, and some really good guard play. So they're going to be hard to beat.
Well, it ought to be a great sectional up there at West Noble High School. Like I said, I look for Tippecanoe Valley and Northwood to come out and be playing on Saturday. And I think Sophie, she's got a bad taste in her mouth. They went out early last year. They lost to a Wawasee team that they probably shouldn't have. I think you're going to see a game on Saturday from Sophie Buzzard that might put them over the top.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see a TRC team get a sectional championship. That would be nice.
So that's your sectional number 21 up at West Noble High School, the 3A sectional with our Tippecanoe Valley Lady Vikings involved in that one. So we're going to go down to the next one. That's going to be sectional 34. That's a 2A sectional. That's going to be up at North Judson High School. We've got 5 teams in this sectional. Only one game in the first round. Tuesday, Boone Grove faces Hebron. And then everything else is going to be first round byes. Basically, you've got 2 games then on Friday. North Newton plays Winnemac, and North Judson is going to be taking on the winner of that Boone Grove Hebron game. Coach Jennings, not really a whole lot of experience with any of these teams, but you've probably seen a lot and heard a lot about North Judson and Winnemac.
Yeah, what's kind of ironic about this sectional is every team in there has a winning record. So, they're all going in thinking, hey, well, there's always a chance, always a possibility. So yes, I believe Winamac and North Judson are the two favorites there, but that's why they play the games. Any night, anything can happen. North Judson was supposed to be our first game of the season this year, and due to their success in volleyball, we just couldn't get that game rescheduled. But so yeah, they returned a lot from last year, and Lily Frazier at the point is just a dominant player, and she's willing to do almost anything it takes to win a game, and she'll look to carry North Judson on. Winamac, really beefed up their schedule this year, and I think that's going to help prepare them for tournament play. So they're a solid play. They got a good strong point guard in the Joseph girl, so it'll be a fun game if it materializes.
Yeah, you got a couple of sophomores leading the teams for both of those with Joseph and then the
Frazier
for Judson. I really like North Judson. They're the defending champions in this sectional. They've got a nice mix. You've got Schumacher and Cox that are big girls inside, but Schumacher can take it outside. She can shoot the three. You've got some really good defenders. Macy Reinbold, tremendous defender for Judson. So they've got all the pieces together. They're going to have a bad taste in their mouth as well. They went out early in the regional last year. Kind of expected to make some noise last year and got beat in the first game of the regional by a very talented, the freshman basically beat them in Hammond Bishop Knoll last year.
Yeah, it's having that success in volleyball too, and I think most of those girls are volleyball players. I think their confidence is going to be running high, but never count out that Winamac defense. I mean, they play hard defensively, and when you have a good, strong defense like Winamac has, anything can happen.
Well, the two teams played just about a week and a half ago, and Judson got the win there in that game over Winamac. I kind of got the feeling a little bit watching that game that maybe Coach Croft was kind of holding back a little bit. I don't think he really put a lot of importance on winning that game. I think he was maybe wanting to leave a little bit in the tank, so to speak, as far as what he showed North Judson.
Yeah, I mean, some coaches do that. So you always kind of, once you play a team once, you get a little bit of a feel what they try to do, and then it's a matter of who can make the adjustments. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think the outcome will be as big as it was this last time.
Winamac is a team that we've been covering all year long, and Tim Gearhart and the crew over there has done a great job. Very passionate crew, and looking forward to it. Should be a good game with North Newton on Friday, and then we're hoping that Winamac can advance and potentially play a rematch with North Judson for the championship then on Saturday. Ought to be a great sectional there. A lot of, like you said, really good teams in there. You look down the line, and everyone, like you said, does have a winning record. So you can't count anyone else out of that. You can't automatically rubber stamp Winamac and Judson into the championship game, but it's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. It would be nice to see two quality programs going at it.
This broadcast brought to you in part by these local sponsors. Enjoy the game with an ice-cold Coke. Locally owned and operated since 1907, Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo proudly supports 28 high schools in north central Indiana. Our starting lineup of brands are sure to keep you hydrated on the sidelines and at home. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo. RTC TV4 thanks you for watching tonight's broadcast. Sponsorship and advertising opportunities are available, and free production is included with every sponsorship package. If you are seeing this, then your customers are seeing it too. RTC TV4. See for yourself. Please support the local sponsors who make this production possible.
All right, welcome back here to RTC TV4 Studios. Steve Stricker here with Coach Brian Jennings from Rochester Lady Zebras, and we're going to skip down here and do the sectional number 50, the Class A sectional at North White High School. And Brian, you said, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about these. We've got 7 teams in this North White sectional, and basically all you need to know is North White. 4-time defending champions of this sectional. They've dominated this sectional. Coach Brian Helmet came in, this is his 5th season, and he's won 4 sectionals there, done a great job. His daughter, Macy Heimlich, was a big catalyst to those 4 years. She's now playing at Bethel. And I believe he's got another daughter playing, and they've kind of reloaded, coming in at 14-7. The Lady Vikings doing another great season. You got Tri-County and Caston in the first game on Tuesday, the only game on Tuesday. Both of these teams, I don't know much about Tri-County. Obviously, Caston, we cover them a lot. Struggled in some games. They've played really well in some games. Just need to kind of put it together, kind of like you said with the Lady Zebras, trying to put that complete game together. North White playing Covenant Christian. Covenant Christian coming off of a loss to Culver. North White probably is going to, take care of that game. West Central, South Newton. South Newton is a team that's, from over there on the Illinois line. Don't know a lot about them, but they're coming in with a nice record, 12-6. So I would expect good things from them. The team that I really want to watch in this sectional this year is Pioneer, new school for us that we picked up this year. Lady Panthers under Coach Brook. It's been a nice, steady progression, and we talked with Coach Brook about that at the beginning of the year, about the process and about how they've gotten a little better every year. And coming in at 13-5, Pioneers got a good shot in this one.
Yeah, I've seen where they had some really nice wins against some quality opponents this year. So and Caston has kind of struggled a little bit lately. Personnel has changed a little bit throughout the season down there. In West Central, seems like forever ago. That was our first game of this season. So it's just a team that we prepped for early and didn't have a chance to really watch them, and we don't have too many common opponents after that. So yeah, it looks like a pretty balanced sectional, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out.
Pioneer, I look to win versus either Tri-County or Caston and get into the championship game, and I assume that it's probably going to be against North White. That's going to be a really good one if that materializes on Saturday. Pioneer is one of those teams. They've got a nice mix. They've got a couple of really good senior leaders. They've got some sophomores that are playing really well. They've got a nice freshman in Haley Kripe, who not real tall, probably about 5'7", but man, she's strong as an ox. And she's come in, and I think Coach Brook really been surprised by the play of Haley Kripe this year. So that'll be an interesting sectional. I think that Pioneer has a really legitimate shot of knocking North White off of the top of the mountain right there. So we'll move on down. Sectional 51, our final sectional in Class A. It's going to be at Oregon Davis again, and you know a lot of these teams, and we know a lot of these teams as well, being from basically this complete area. 7 teams involved in this sectional. OD's the defending champ from last year. Argus has won 2 of the last 3. Both of those were, though, at Culver Community when OD was up in 2A. So it's going to be a tough one. OD is always a tough place to play. You know that from experience. Yeah,
it's a unique gym. It's a circle. So they have their own environment up there. It is a really neat place to play. And with the success that they've had over the years, it's kind of an intimidation factor to go to their place and play. So every team in there that's going to have to go up against the Bobcats are going to have to be ready to play in a tough environment.
So we're going to start out with Triton taking on South Central on Tuesday. Let's just go through the teams first. So Triton, South Central Tuesday, Lacrosse Culver, and first game on Wednesday. Argus OD is your second game on Wednesday. And then South Bend Career Academy has the bye. They'll wait for that Triton South Central winner. So let's just talk a little bit about the games. Triton South Central. Triton's coming in with a 6-15 record. You guys played over at Triton. One thing that that to note with the schedule that Triton plays: 1 4A team, 7 3A teams, 7 2A teams. So they don't have a patsy cake schedule. You can look at that record, but Coach Heckman's going to have them ready.
Yeah, I ask him every year, why such a tough schedule? You know, and he's had some pressure on him in the past before over there, you know, about their record a little bit. They're about 500 about every year, but every year they are in the hunt for that sectional championship. You know, he doesn't back down from anybody. He plays the Northwoods. I don't think they played Warsaw, but in the past they have. Plymouth and Tippy Valley. I mean, it is one heck of a schedule that he plays every year. So when you play that type of a schedule every year, you're going to be sectional ready. So, you know, they've been playing very close games, just haven't been coming out on top lately.
You got a South Central team from over there in Union Mills. They've had their share of frustrations in the sectional. A lot of that was provided by Argus in the last few years. So they're going to be really hungry. They haven't won a sectional since the 04-05 season. They've got a really good team led by Amber Wolf, a really talented junior over there. So South Central is going to be a team to reckon with in this one. They got a really good draw. If you look at that Triton game, they get past that. They've got a Career Academy. It's only the second sectional game Career Academy's ever played. And the last time they played was in 16-17, and that was against South Central, and lost by about 70. So that's going to be a game there. If South Central can get past Triton, you can pretty much pencil them into the championship. The bottom half of this bracket gets real interesting. You've got La Crosse and Culver. La Crosse beat Culver earlier in the season by about 12 points, I think. Culver is a team that, you know, they've won 8 games this year. I think they're another one of those teams that, you know, they're still trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to find the way to win. And, you know, like I said, they've got 8 wins this year. So they're gaining some confidence here late in the season with some late season wins. You know, and you give a team like that, you know, a little bit of confidence, sectional play, anything can happen. You know, they're making strides down at Culver. So it's a team that's on the upswing. Over the next few years, they'll be back. They'll be back making some more noise.
Yeah, it was a team that you guys played at Rochester, and Culver kind of led, I think, throughout the first 3 quarters, and they just couldn't quite finish.
Yeah, they're extremely scrappy. They're aggressive, and they refuse to give up. I mean, they're going to work until the final horn blows. They don't give up. And anytime you play a team like that, they're going to be dangerous.
And you always talk about a team that kind of reflects the attitude of their coach, Tammy Shedrow. I went to school with her, and that was the way she played. And she's just scrappy, and she doesn't give up. And so Culver La Crosse, that ought to be a great game. And then down on the bottom of that bracket, the rematch of the sectional championship from last year, you got Argus taking on Oregon Davis. A little different Argus team than you had a year ago. You know, graduated some pretty talented seniors, and new coach Dan Dewar, head coach now up at Argus. What's your thoughts on that matchup?
It's going to be a good matchup. You know, you've got some good guard play on both sides with the Dunlap girl and the Sauer girl from OD. You got some post players on each floor. It's going to be a matter of, can Argus go into that environment at OD with confidence and compete? You know, Argus is a solid team. They got a lot of weapons. The Morris girl can really shoot. And the one I've really been impressed with the most is Cagney Hoffman. You know, is one of those that she has had a season where she may not be high on team scouting reports, but boy, she does come through in the clutch. So you got a good mix of kids there and talented Argus. OD kind of has that experience, even though most of them are juniors. It's that full court pressure that if you can just relax, take your time, know you're going to make some turnovers in that, but just deal with it and move on. I think it's going to be a really good matchup.
We've talked about it. It's a challenge, especially going to Oregon Davis and playing. You got a young squad with Argus, but I think they'll give them a game. They did play just a couple weeks ago, and Coach Dewar was telling me, he's like, hey, man, we put up 58. Well, the problem is we gave up 78.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a matter of, they've got to find the way to put up the 58 and limit Oregon Davis to, 57.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Oregon Davis plays that fast pace. And if you're not used to playing that fast pace, you usually run out of gas. So if Argus can play at a pace that they're used to, or they want to, and break the press, pull it back out, play their half-court game, I think you'll see a different outcome there.
Yeah, we saw Argus challenge Oregon Davis last year, lost by 2, had a shot in the air at the buzzer that would have tied things up, and it's going to be a tough matchup again for the Lady Dragons, but let's see what they can do. And ought to be a fun sectional up there at Oregon Davis. You're going to see the Culver and Argus games both here on RTC TV4, so tune in for that. Those games will be on Wednesday back to back. So we're going to take a quick break here, come back with the final sectional, the home sectional, if you will, over at Manchester for the Rochester Lady Zebras. We're talking with Rochester Lady Zebra head coach Brian Jennings. We'll be back here in just a moment. You're watching RTC TV4.
Got that new home edition and you're keeping it covered.
Ooh, coverages now. I can help with this. Got zone coverage, man coverage, combo coverages.
I don't know, Peyton. I think more like the coverage your nationwide agent offers.
Oh, you want to go there? Home, auto, life, business, farm, boat, RV, ATV, camper, pet, motorcycle, your tour bus. Did I mention farm?
Contact Jennings Insurance Agency today or visit one of our offices in Argus and Rochester.
All right, welcome back here to the studios at RTC TV4. Steve Stricker with Coach Brian Jennings of the Rochester Lady Zebras, and we've saved the best for last, Coach. Should know a lot about this one. It's the Manchester sectional, number 37. That's Class 2A. And we've got 6 teams in there, including your Lady Zebras. Oak Hill, North Miami, Manchester, Rochester, Wabash, and Cass. So let's just run down the bracket here a little bit. We've got the bracket behind us. Oak Hill, North Miami in game number 1. On Tuesday, game number 2 is going to be Rochester, Manchester. It's going to be a rematch of a game that was just about a week ago. Wabash waits the winner of that Oak Hill, North Miami, and then Cass waits the winner of Manchester and Rochester. Of course, you got Oak Hill in there. They're the 2-time defending champions. We all know what they did 2 years ago, making it all the way down to the state championship, losing in that one. Last year got knocked out by Frankton. That was another one we talked about, Valley getting knocked out early. That was a big shock to everybody, seeing Oak Hill go down to Frankton in the regionals. Let's just start off. Let's talk about that Oak Hill North Miami game. North Miami, one of our new schools that we're partnering with down there. North Miami's done a lot of good things this year with, some missing pieces.
Yeah, lost a couple of girls for, just moved. And so I think everybody kind of thought, well, that'll take care of North Miami this year. But when you look, they still had 5 of their top 7 were still returning. So, and then a new coach this year comes in and has them working hard. Very good guard play at North Miami. Got some good, strong post play. Not a very deep team, but they've had a really good year. I got upset by Mechanical last night, but very successful year for North Miami, where a lot of people really didn't expect it.
Unexpected. Coach Lori Working has done a great job down there, but I tell you what, the draw was very unkind to them, picking up Oak Hill in game number 1. That's an Oak Hill team I got a chance to see in person. They were playing over at Northwestern, a kind of one-off game that we picked up, and you can't really normally say, they lost by 18 to Northwestern and think that they played really well, but man, they played really well against the top team in the state. Yeah,
and the other thing that you don't realize, we had Oak Hill in our scrimmage game, so my really first taste of varsity action as a head coach, Oak Hill walks into the gym, and wow, were they big.
Yeah.
And Northwestern made them look extremely small on Channel 4.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how big those girls are. Big and strong, fast and athletic. I think there's 3 or 4 kids already signed to play college basketball. So, they are extremely tall, extremely talented, just a good group of kids. And they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, most of those girls are back from those last two sectional championships. They've kind of had that core group of girls, so they're going to be a tough one to get out of there. So let's go down to your game, Manchester. You drew the home team in game number 1. You guys played them here just on the 18th of January. Manchester won that one by 11. So talk a little bit about that.
You know, it was a game where we came out and scored the first basket of the fourth quarter, made it 29-28, a 1-point game. Unfortunately, our offense stalled, and we don't score the rest of the game, and they end up winning by 11. It's a very competitive game. I think the worst part of this is we're at Manchester again. So we have to go to their home floor. Both teams were coming off a back-to-back game. We had Valley the night before, and I think they played Wabash the night before. So both teams were a little bit tired from having the game before, and they didn't shoot really well. So I don't know if that was our defense that caused them to shoot well or just tired. So I'm going to go with they're probably going to shoot the ball a little bit better this time around. So we're going to have to be ready to go.
Well, not only that, but it was moved. There was a lot of shuffling going on those 2 days. I do want to give shout out to all the athletic directors in the TRC. That was a crazy couple of days right there. You had your girls' game got moved back. You had moved up, actually. It was supposed to be on Saturday. So Saturday the big snowstorm was coming. You know, TRC wrestling down at McConaughey, TRC swimming, TRC diving all got changed in the last 24 hours before that. So kudos to the athletic directors in the TRC, and kudos to McConaughey for putting all that on. They had a boys basketball game, they had the TRC swimming, and they had the TRC wrestling all going on at the school on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes as coaches, we're not happy with the way things go, but there's a lot to handle. And if you look at the bigger picture, I mean, it's handled very professionally and very well done, and it is a tough job to do. Yeah, we don't like playing the back-to-back games, especially conference games back-to-backs, but we got to get them in. So, sometimes it's best to move it and get that game in. So, this time we know where it's going to be, and we're going to be ready.
So you guys play back-to-back, Oak Hill, North Miami, first game Tuesday, Manchester, Rochester, second. So got Wabash waiting the winner of Oak Hill, North Miami, first game on Friday, and then you got a Cass team. If you guys can get past Manchester, you got a 1-20 Cass team waiting for you. So
yes, you do, but it's also a dangerous game because sometimes you look past the 1-20 team and don't play up to your potential. So whoever comes out of there, Manchester or Rochester, going to have to be ready. It's a Cass team that has nothing to lose. They're going to come out and they're going to play hard. And when you win one game on the season, get one more in the sectional and play for a sectional championship is going to go a long way. So I know they're going to be ready. So it's a game you just don't want to look past.
It's a Wabash team, too, setting up there with that first game by 8-11, but they've got some players.
Yeah, they're a very solid team. And again, if Oak Hill and North Miami is a close game, a tough game, they're sitting there, get a chance to see a game, and, one game out, it's not a bad thing not a bad position to be in. It's always that early game. That Wabash game will be an early game, a 6 o'clock game. Varsity teams seem to come out and struggle a little bit at 6 o'clock games, so just not quite not a normal game for them. So you never know what's going to happen at a 6 o'clock game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what goes on over there at Manchester. We're going to have both of the first round games for you on Tuesday, Oak Hill, North Miami, and then the Manchester versus Rochester, and then we'll see who advances out of there, and we'll let you know our schedule from there. So we're going to kind of wrap things up here. We've went down through all 5 of our sectionals we're going to be covering for you here on RTC TV4. And Coach Jennings, really appreciate you coming in here. I know the weather's not the greatest today, and it's been fun talking a little girls basketball here. Maybe we can come back next week and talk some regional action.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long road to hoe. You've got Oak Hill in there. They're gonna be the big time favorite for this sectional, but stranger things have happened. Yeah. We talked about the Argus, beating South Central in 16. Nobody thought that was possible, so you never know.
That's the thing. You kind of throw the records out the window at sectional time. That's the old cliche. So we're going in, nothing to lose. Give it everything we got. Kind of send our seniors out, hopefully on a good note. And our goal right now is to play in February. If we can play in February, we're happy.
Good deal. So we thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Scott Sager behind the camera there helping us out. For Brian Jennings, I'm Steve Stricker, and we'll see you here again soon. We're going to start our weekly sports show up here before too long, so we'll be coming to you on a weekly basis here from RTC TV4 Studios. Thanks for tuning in.